Welcome to my channel. What if I told you that you can start speaking better English in just a few weeks, not months or years? You might not believe it, but the truth is, speed comes from smart practice, not long hours. Have you ever wondered why some people improve fast while others stay stuck? Let's find out together. Comment below. Do you want to learn English faster? Chapter 1. The Real Reason You're Still Stuck. When I started learning English, I thought I was doing everything right. I memorized hundreds of words. I studied grammar rules. I filled notebooks with exercises. But when I had to speak, my mouth froze. The words I had learned disappeared. I could understand a little when others spoke, but when it was my turn, my mind went blank. Have you ever felt that way? You know the word, but it hides somewhere in your brain when you need it most. That's the moment every English learner faces, the wall between knowledge and fluency. I remember sitting in my classroom, watching my classmates raise their hands with confidence. They answered questions easily. They laughed, spoke, and understood everything. I sat quietly, hoping the teacher wouldn't call my name. My heart beat faster every time she looked in my direction. I wanted to speak, but something inside stopped me. It wasn't just fear, it was confusion. I had learned English, but I couldn't use it. It felt like I was studying swimming by reading a book, not by jumping into the water. That's when I realized something important. The problem wasn't me. It was the way I was learning. I was focusing on the wrong things. I thought grammar rules would make me fluent. I thought memorizing words would make me speak better. But fluency doesn't come from knowing, it comes from doing. I was collecting English, not living it. I was trying to be perfect before I even started, and that's the trap most learners fall into. You might be doing the same. You study for hours, but you don't speak. You watch videos, but you don't repeat the sentences. You learn the rules, but you don't use them in real life. And slowly, your brain becomes full, but your mouth stays silent. You don't need more English books. You need to use the English you already know. That's where real progress begins. Let me tell you a small story. One day, my teacher asked me to describe my morning routine in English. It sounded simple, but I couldn't say even a single full sentence. I knew all the words: wake up, brush, breakfast, school, but I couldn't join them together. I felt embarrassed. I remember thinking, why can't I speak when I know the words? That day changed me. I realized English is not just about remembering, it's about connecting. Connecting words to actions, connecting sound to emotion, connecting study to life. So I started observing myself. I noticed how I was afraid of mistakes. Every time I spoke, I wanted my sentence to be perfect, but that pressure made me silent. I learned something powerful. Perfection kills speed. The more I tried to be perfect, the slower I became. But when I stopped worrying, my English began to move. Slowly at first, then faster and faster. Fluency is not about speaking perfectly, it's about speaking bravely. Think about it. When you were a child, you didn't learn your first language by studying grammar books. You listened, you repeated, you made mistakes, and you tried again. That's how the brain learns any language. But when we grow up, we forget this simple truth. We think too much, and we speak too little. That's why you might still feel stuck. You're learning with your brain, not with your voice. If you want to improve your English fast, stop trying to be a student and start being a speaker. Speak the small sentences you already know. I am eating. I am tired. It's raining. It might feel simple, but these sentences build your foundation. They make your mouth move. They train your brain to think in English. The more you speak, the faster your brain connects sound, meaning, and feeling. One more thing. Don't wait for confidence to come first. Confidence doesn't appear before you speak. It comes after you speak. The first time you talk, you'll feel shy. The second time, you'll feel okay. The 10th time, you'll feel strong. That's how you build speed. Through repetition, not magic. Every time you open your mouth, your English becomes a little faster, a little clearer. Many learners believe they are not talented enough. But it's not about talent, it's about training. Every fluent speaker you admire once felt lost too. They made mistakes, forgot words, and felt afraid, just like you. But they didn't stop. They practiced every single day, even when nobody was listening. That's the secret difference between those who improve and those who stay stuck. The first group takes action. The second one waits for the perfect day. So, if you're watching this, I want you to remember this line. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to begin. Speak one small sentence today. Don't care if it's wrong. Every mistake is your teacher. Every word is a step forward. Don't hide behind grammar. Use your English now, messy, broken, brave. That's how you move from stuck to fluent. The wall you feel right now, it's not real. It's just made of fear and overthinking. Break it with action. Listen, speak, repeat, and feel. Because your English doesn't live in your head, it lives in your daily life. And from this chapter on, that's exactly where we're going to take it. Chapter 2. Small Practice, Big Change. When I first started practicing English every day, I didn't do anything big. I didn't have a perfect plan or fancy books. I just had a small notebook and a big dream. Every morning, I wrote one simple sentence in English. Sometimes it was, I am tired. Sometimes, I feel happy. That's all, one line. But something amazing started to happen. My brain began to wake up in English. The words I wrote started to stay in my memory. I didn't realize it at the time, but those few minutes were changing everything. Most people think they need to study for hours to improve fast. But the truth is, your brain doesn't grow with pressure, it grows with consistency. When you study too long, your mind gets tired. You forget what you learned. But when you practice a little bit every day, your brain starts to adapt. It begins to expect English. It looks for English. It loves English. That's when progress becomes automatic. That's the secret nobody tells you. Small practice creates big change. There was a time when I only practiced speaking for 5 minutes a day. I would stand in front of the mirror and talk about my morning. I woke up late today. I brushed my teeth. I am wearing a blue shirt. It felt silly at first. I laughed at myself. But after 1 week, I noticed something. I could speak faster. I didn't have to stop and translate in my head. My mouth began to move naturally. I felt free. That's when I learned that English fluency is not built in hours, it's built in moments. Moments of courage, moments of repetition, moments of daily effort. Small practice also removes fear. When you try to do too much, you fail and feel disappointed. You lose motivation. But when you do something small, it feels easy. You complete it. You feel proud. That pride becomes energy. The next day, you do it again. Slowly, that energy grows. It becomes confidence, and confidence builds speed. Every small victory matters. It's like climbing stairs one step at a time. It may look slow, but soon you're higher than you ever imagined. One of my favorite memories is from when I started listening to English podcasts for just 10 minutes every night before sleeping. At first, I didn't understand everything. Sometimes, I understood only one word in a sentence. But I didn't give up. I kept listening every night. After 2 weeks, I started catching phrases. How are you? That's great. You know what I mean. My ears started recognizing patterns. I could predict what would come next. That's when I understood that improvement doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from feeling the rhythm. 10 minutes a day was enough to change my listening completely. People often say, I don't have time to learn English. But time is never the problem. You don't need 1 hour, you need one habit. Think of it like brushing your teeth, a small thing, but you do it daily. That's what keeps your English alive. You can practice while cooking, walking, or showering. Speak sentences quietly to yourself. Listen while you travel. Read one paragraph before sleeping. The magic is not in the hours, it's in the habit. Another thing I learned is that emotion makes practice powerful. When I repeated sentences that meant something to me, I remembered them faster. For example, when I said, I will speak English fluently, I felt something in my heart. That feeling made the words stick. Your brain remembers emotions, not just information. So, don't repeat words like a robot. Say them like they're part of your life. Feel proud, feel excited, feel alive. That's when small practice turns into big progress. Once, I met a friend who wanted to improve his English too. He said, I'll study 10 hours this weekend. I said, that's good, but what will you do on Monday? He laughed and said, maybe rest. 2 weeks later, he was tired and stopped learning. I was still doing my 10 minutes every day. After 1 month, I was ahead. Not because I was smarter, but because I didn't stop. That's the difference between motivation and habit. Motivation makes you start. Habit makes you continue. Let's make it simple. If you want to improve fast, do 3 small things daily. First, speak one sentence in English. Just one. Say it out loud. Second, listen to English for 5 minutes. A short story, a song, anything you enjoy. Third, write one line in your notebook. That's it. 3 small actions. They don't take your time, they take your intention. Do it for 30 days and I promise, your brain will start thinking in English. Small practice is like planting a seed. You can't see the plant on day 1, but something is happening under the surface. The roots are growing. The seed is alive. Every small effort you make is building your English roots. One day, those roots will break the ground, and your fluency will bloom. You'll speak naturally. You'll understand faster. You'll look back and realize how far you've come. So today, forget about perfection. Forget about long hours. Just start small. Speak your sentence. Listen for 5 minutes. Write your line. And smile, because you're already on your way. Big change doesn't begin tomorrow. It begins with the small action you take right now. Chapter 3. Speak before you're ready. For a long time, I waited. I waited for the day when I would feel ready to speak English. I wanted my pronunciation to be perfect, my grammar to be strong, and my vocabulary to be big. But that day never came. Every time I thought I was close, I found another mistake, another missing word, another reason to stay silent. Maybe you've done the same. You tell yourself, I'll start speaking when I learn more. But that more never ends. You study and study, yet you stay quiet. The truth is simple. If you wait to be ready, you'll wait forever. I still remember the first time I spoke English in public. I was in a small shop, trying to buy a notebook. The shopkeeper spoke only English. My heart was beating so fast that I could hear it in my ears. I wanted to run away, but I didn't. I took a deep breath and said, I want notebook. He smiled and understood. That moment changed everything for me. My sentence wasn't perfect, but it worked. I realized something powerful. People don't need perfect English from you. They just need your effort, your voice, your courage. Many learners think speaking early will make them look foolish. But the opposite is true. Speaking early makes you learn faster. Every time you speak, your brain creates new connections. You hear your own mistakes. You feel where you get stuck. You notice what words you need. That's real learning. Books can teach you rules, but only your voice can teach you fluency. Every mistake is a map showing you where to grow. There was a time when I used to speak English alone in my room. I would stand in front of the mirror and talk to myself. Sometimes I pretended to be a teacher. Sometimes I acted like I was talking to a friend. I used simple sentences. How are you today? I'm feeling good. I will go to the market. It wasn't perfect English, but it was practice. It made me comfortable hearing my own voice in another language. It made English feel natural. The more I spoke, the less afraid I became. Slowly, my tongue started to move easily. My mind stopped translating. My confidence grew. The truth is, fluency doesn't begin in your head, it begins in your mouth. You can know every grammar rule, but if you don't use them in real sentences, they stay locked inside your mind. You need to make them move. You need to make them real. When you speak, your brain learns faster because it connects sound, meaning, and feeling together. That's why children learn languages so quickly. They speak first, not last. They don't wait to understand every rule. They use the language freely, fearlessly, and that's what you should do too. One of my favorite exercises was repeating what I heard. I would watch a short English video and try to copy it immediately. I didn't stop to think, I just spoke. At first, I sounded strange. My accent was strong, my timing was wrong, but I didn't care. I was training my muscles, not just my mind. After some time, I noticed my sentences flowing better. I didn't freeze anymore. My mouth began to trust my brain. That's what happens when you speak before you're ready. Your body learns the rhythm of English faster than your brain does. I met a friend once who spoke English beautifully. I asked him how he learned so fast. He said, I started speaking from day one. I was surprised. He told me he spoke even when he didn't know the right words. If he forgot something, he described it. If he made a mistake, he laughed. He said, if I waited to be perfect, I would still be silent today. Those words stayed with me. It made me realize that courage is the real shortcut to fluency. Not grammar, not vocabulary. Courage. Speaking before you're ready also changes how you feel about mistakes. You stop seeing them as failures and start seeing them as feedback. You stop running from them. You learn from them. Every time I made a mistake, I wrote it down. Later, I practiced that word or sentence again. That's how I grew. Mistakes became my teachers. I stopped fearing them, and once that fear disappeared, speaking became fun. Here's something I want you to remember. You don't need to speak fast to sound fluent. You just need to speak often. Even short, slow sentences are powerful. When you say them out loud, your brain starts to believe that English belongs to you. It's not someone else's language anymore, it's yours. You are claiming it, one word at a time. Every time you speak, you're rewriting your story from I can't to I'm trying, and soon to I can. So, don't wait. Speak today. Speak even if your words shake. Speak even if you forget what to say next. Speak even if people laugh. Because those people will one day ask you, how did you become so fluent? And you'll smile and say, I started before I was ready. That's the real secret. The moment you start speaking, your journey truly begins. The moment you open your mouth, your English starts to move. And that's how you improve fast, by being brave before being ready. Chapter 4. The Listening Secret. When I started learning English, I used to think speaking was the only way to improve fast. I focused on talking, repeating, and writing. But I didn't realize something very important: the power of listening. One day, a teacher told me, Adam, before you speak well, you must listen well. I didn't understand at first, but soon I learned that listening is like food for your brain. The more you listen, the stronger your English grows, naturally, quietly, every single day. At first, listening felt like climbing a tall mountain. I could hear the sounds, but not the meaning. People spoke too fast. Their words joined together. Sometimes it felt like they weren't even speaking English. I got frustrated. I wanted to understand everything right away, but I couldn't. I almost gave up. But then something changed. Instead of trying to understand every word, I started focusing on the rhythm. I just listened, without pressure, without trying too hard. I listened while walking, while eating, even before sleeping. Slowly, my brain began to recognize patterns. The mountain started to feel smaller. Listening every day started to change my life. I began to hear familiar words in conversations, in songs, and in videos. Suddenly, things started to click. When someone said, "How's it going?" I didn't need to translate, I just understood. It became automatic. That's the magic of listening. It trains your ears before your mouth. It prepares your brain to think in English. You start to feel the language instead of just studying it. I remember one evening, I was watching a short English story online. I didn't understand much, but the voice was calm and slow. I played it again and again. After a few days, the same story sounded easier. The same words felt clearer. I realized that my ears were getting stronger. It was like going to the gym, every listening session was a workout. I didn't notice it at first, but my progress was real. When I spoke later, my pronunciation improved automatically. Listening was teaching me how to speak without me even trying. You don't have to sit in front of a screen for hours to practice listening. You can listen while doing other things. I used to play short English audios while cleaning my room or brushing my teeth. Sometimes I listened to English podcasts while walking. Even if I didn't understand every sentence, I kept listening. The sound of English became familiar, friendly, and comfortable. That comfort turned into confidence. I was no longer scared of fast speech. I began to enjoy it. One thing I learned is that listening is not about translation. When you listen in English, don't try to turn every word into your language. Let the sound go directly into your mind. At first, it feels strange, but soon your brain starts to understand naturally. That's how babies learn. They listen for months before they ever say a word. Their brain connects meaning to sound slowly, silently. That's what you need to do too. Listen with your heart, not with your dictionary. Another powerful trick I used was shadowing. I picked short audio clips and repeated what I heard at the same time. I didn't care if I made mistakes. I just tried to match the rhythm, tone, and emotion. It felt like singing along to a song. That simple practice made my pronunciation better than any rulebook ever could. I started sounding more natural. My voice had energy, not hesitation. Listening gave my English life. Music also helped me a lot. I listened to English songs with lyrics. At first, I couldn't catch the words, but when I read the lyrics, I felt the beauty of each line. I sang along even if my voice cracked. But that singing helped my tongue move faster. It trained my brain to feel English emotions, sadness, happiness, excitement, through words. That emotional connection made me fall in love with the language even more. Movies were another secret teacher. I watched simple English movies with subtitles. In the beginning, my eyes were busy reading, but after a while, I didn't need the subtitles as much. I began to understand the actors just by listening. Their tone, their expressions, their rhythm, everything taught me how real people speak English. That's when I realized, learning doesn't only happen in classrooms. It happens in your ears, in your heart, in your daily life. If you want to improve your English fast, make listening a daily habit. It doesn't matter if you understand only a little. What matters is that you expose your brain to real English sound every day. Listen in the morning when you wake up. Listen at night before you sleep. Choose things you love, stories, songs, or conversations. Your brain will do the work silently while you enjoy the process. One day, you'll wake up and realize you're understanding English without trying. That's the true power of listening. Remember this: when you listen, you are training your future voice. You are building your speaking foundation without pressure. So don't skip it. Keep your ears open and your heart ready. Every word you hear today will help you speak better tomorrow. That's how you move from learning English to living it, by letting it enter your life through sound. Chapter 5: Think in English. The Fast Fluency Trick. For years, I didn't realize that the biggest reason I was slow at speaking English wasn't my grammar or vocabulary. It was translation. Every time I wanted to say something, my brain first thought it in my language, then tried to change it into English. By the time I found the right words, the moment was gone. I felt nervous, slow, and unsure. Maybe you felt the same. Your ideas are clear in your mind, but your mouth can't keep up. That's because your brain is doing extra work. It's walking the long way around. But fluency begins when you stop translating and start thinking in English. At first, this idea sounded impossible to me. How could I think in a language I didn't know well? But one day, my teacher said something that changed my life. She said, "Adam, stop thinking about English. Start living in English." I didn't understand it right away, but slowly, I began to see what she meant. Thinking in English doesn't mean knowing every word. It means connecting your thoughts directly to simple English sentences, without using your native language as a bridge. I started small. Every morning, when I woke up, I spoke to myself in English. "Good morning. I feel sleepy. I want to brush my teeth." They were short, easy sentences, but they had power. I didn't translate them, I just said them naturally. When I looked outside, I said, "It's sunny today." When I was hungry, I said, "I want food." I spoke to myself like a child learning to talk. And just like a child, my brain started to build direct links between thoughts and English words. The more I practiced, the faster my brain became. I didn't have to stop and think. Sentences started coming automatically. I could describe what I was doing, what I saw, what I felt, all in English. I realized something amazing. Fluency isn't about speaking fast, it's about thinking simply. When you think in English, you remove the delay. You stop translating. You stop doubting. Your mind and mouth finally move together. But it wasn't easy at first. Sometimes I couldn't find the right words. I wanted to say something, but my English vocabulary wasn't enough. So I learned a trick. When I didn't know a word, I described it instead. If I forgot umbrella, I said, "the thing that stops the rain." If I forgot wallet, I said, "the small thing that holds my money." And guess what? People understood me. I didn't need perfect words to express my thoughts. I just needed creativity and courage. Thinking in English is not about perfection, it's about communication. One day, I realized something funny. I started dreaming in English. It wasn't perfect grammar, but it was real. My brain was no longer translating. It was living in English even when I slept. That's when I knew I had changed. I wasn't just studying English anymore. I was becoming English in my thoughts. And when that happens, your progress becomes unstoppable. You can start this too, right now. Try to describe your day in English, even in your mind. When you cook, say, "I'm cutting the vegetables." When you walk, say, "I'm going to the shop." When you're happy, say, "I feel good." These small sentences may look simple, but they train your brain to think fast. They turn English from a school subject into your inner voice. Another thing that helped me was surrounding myself with English words. I changed my phone language to English. I put small notes around my room, door, mirror, bed, window. Each time I looked at something, my brain automatically said the English word. Slowly, English became the language of my environment. That's how your brain starts connecting everything around you with English. It becomes your world, not just a lesson. Sometimes, when I didn't know what to say, I would ask myself questions in English. What do I want today? How do I feel? What will I do next? I didn't always answer perfectly, but that conversation with myself made me confident. It made my thoughts move in English. The more I practiced this mental dialogue, the more natural my speaking became. Because when your thoughts change, your words follow. Thinking in English also changes how you feel about mistakes. When you translate, every error feels like failure. But when you think directly in English, mistakes feel like part of the flow. You start caring more about expression than perfection. That freedom makes your English faster and more real. It's like dancing. When you stop counting the steps, you start moving to the music. So, don't wait to become fluent to think in English. Start thinking now, in simple words, short phrases, and daily moments. Your brain is smarter than you think. It will adapt. It will learn. One day, you'll realize you just spoke a full paragraph in English, without translation, without fear. And in that moment, you'll smile, because that's when you'll know you're not learning English anymore. You're living it. Chapter 6. The Daily Routine That Changes Everything. When people ask me how I improved my English fast, I always tell them the truth. It wasn't one big thing. It was small things done every day. A simple routine that became a habit that became a lifestyle. Many learners search for a secret method, a magic formula, or a perfect course. But the real secret is consistency. Your brain doesn't need 10 hours in one day. It needs 10 minutes every day. That's what I learned, and that's what changed everything. In the beginning, I didn't have a plan. Some days I studied a lot, other days I did nothing. I kept starting and stopping. My progress was slow, and I felt frustrated. Then one morning, I decided to build my own English routine. Something simple, something real, something I could do every single day. I promised myself, no matter what happens, I'll give English a part of my day. That small promise became my turning point. My morning routine was simple. The first thing I did after waking up was speak one English sentence to myself in the mirror. It didn't matter if it was short or funny. Sometimes I said, "Good morning, Adam. Wedi fo wara." Sometimes, "Today is a new day." Speaking early in the morning gave my brain a jump start. It reminded me that English was part of my life now, not just a subject in a book. It was a friend I greeted every day. After that, I listened to English for a few minutes, a podcast, a short story, or a YouTube video. I didn't force myself to understand everything. I just let the words enter my mind. I made my breakfast while listening. I didn't think of it as study time, it was just my English time. I began to enjoy it. The sound of English became like music to me. My brain was waking up in English, my day was starting in English, and that made me feel alive. In the afternoon, I practiced writing. I didn't write essays or long paragraphs. I wrote one short journal entry about my day. For example, I went to the market. I bought apples. The weather was hot. They were simple lines, but they were mine. They described my real life. That made them powerful. Writing daily helped me see my mistakes and fix them. It also helped me think clearly in English. Over time, my sentences became longer, smoother, and more confident. In the evening, I spent 5 minutes reviewing what I learned that day. Sometimes I repeated sentences I had heard in the morning. Sometimes I read my journal out loud. Sometimes I practiced pronunciation by watching myself in the mirror. It became a game. Could I sound better than yesterday? This small nightly review helped my brain remember everything while I slept. It was like telling my mind, keep learning while I rest. And believe me, it worked. I also gave myself weekends to relax. But even then, I didn't stop English completely. I watched English movies or read storybooks. I kept it light, fun, and easy. That's what made my routine work. It never felt heavy. It became part of my normal life, just like brushing my teeth or checking my phone. That's the secret. When English becomes part of your day, it stops being hard. It becomes natural. I noticed a big change after 1 month. My listening improved. My speaking became faster. I wasn't translating anymore. I could form sentences in real time. My confidence grew because I saw results. I didn't feel lost anymore. I felt in control. All because of that simple daily routine. The best part? My routine was flexible. If I missed the morning, I did it at night. If I was tired, I just spoke 2 sentences instead of 10. I didn't punish myself. I didn't quit. I learned that progress is not about perfection, it's about persistence. Even a 5-minute effort counts. The secret to fluency isn't doing more, it's doing something every day. If you want to build your own English routine, start small. Choose one thing for the morning, one for the evening. Maybe speak 1 line in the morning and listen for 5 minutes at night. Or read 1 paragraph and write 1 short note about your day. Keep it simple, but keep it daily. Over time, your brain will start to expect English, like a friend it meets every day. That's when English becomes your habit, not your homework. One day, I looked at myself and realized something amazing. I didn't need to study English anymore. I was living it. My thoughts, my actions, my days, all had English inside them. I didn't have to find time for it, because it had already found a place in my life. And that's when I truly became fluent. Not when I finished a book, not when I passed a test, but when English became part of who I was. So, if you're watching this, I want you to remember, one small routine can change your life. You don't need big plans. You just need small steps, done daily. Start today. Speak your morning sentence. Write your daily line. Listen to your 5 minutes of English. It may feel small, but one day you'll look back and see those small steps built your fluency. They built your new life. Chapter 7: From Effort to Speed, Your English Breakthrough. There comes a moment in every learner's journey when everything starts to feel easier. At first, you struggle. Every word feels heavy. Every sentence takes time. You have to think before speaking, translate before writing, repeat before remembering. But one day, something changes. You open your mouth, and the words flow. You understand more without trying. You don't pause to think, you just speak. That moment is your English breakthrough, and it doesn't happen by luck. It happens after all your small efforts finally come together. For me, that moment came quietly. I didn't even realize it at first. I was talking to a friend online, and halfway through the conversation, I noticed something strange. I wasn't translating anymore. I wasn't scared. I was just talking. My voice sounded different. My sentences came faster. I even made jokes in English. When the call ended, I smiled. It hit me. This was the result of all those mornings I practiced alone, all those nights I listened to stories, all those times I spoke even when I was afraid. All those small moments had built something big inside me. The truth is, fluency never arrives in one day. It grows silently, like a plant. You water it daily with small actions, speaking, listening, reading, and writing. And then one day, you see it bloom. your confidence rises, your fear disappears, and English becomes a part of you. That's when effort turns into speed. You start doing everything in English naturally. You think in it, dream in it, and feel it. The language that once scared you now gives you power. But before that breakthrough comes, there's always one last wall, the wall of doubt. It's when you feel tired and start wondering, is this really working? Am I improving at all? I've been there too. Many times I felt stuck, even when I was working hard. But here's what I learned: progress is quiet. You don't always see it happening, but it's there. Just like your reflection grows stronger in the mirror the more you clean it, your English grows every time you practice, even when you don't notice it. To move from effort to speed, you must keep your heart patient and your practice alive. Don't chase perfection, chase connection. Don't try to sound like a native speaker, try to sound like yourself, clear, confident, and real. English fluency is not a race, it's a rhythm. And once your rhythm starts, you'll never lose it again. It becomes part of your everyday life, like breathing. One simple thing that helped me grow faster was repetition. I repeated my favorite English sentences again and again, sometimes 100 times. It felt boring, but it trained my tongue, my memory, and my mind. That repetition built my muscle memory. When I spoke later, my mouth already knew what to do. My sentences came out smoother, my words had flow. That's when I realized fluency is not magic, it's muscle. The more you train, the faster you move. Another powerful habit was reading out loud. Every evening, I picked a short English paragraph and read it with feeling. I copied the tone, the rhythm, and the energy of the speaker. It made my voice stronger and my speech clearer. I started enjoying the sound of my own English. I wasn't shy anymore. I started believing that my English was worth being heard. That belief alone made me faster, because confidence is the real fuel of fluency. Then there's one more secret: enjoyment. When you enjoy your learning, speed comes naturally. When I started watching English movies, listening to funny podcasts, and reading stories I loved, my progress doubled. I wasn't studying anymore, I was living. The more I loved what I learned, the faster my brain picked it up. The truth is, your brain learns best when you're happy. So fill your learning with joy, not stress. And remember, the goal is not to speak like a book, it's to speak like a human. Use small words, speak from your heart. Don't be afraid of mistakes, they are part of your sound. Every fluent person you admire still makes them too. The only difference is, they don't stop because of them. They keep speaking, keep moving, keep shining. So if you've come this far, your breakthrough is near. Maybe you can't see it yet, but it's waiting for you, behind one more sentence, one more listening session, one more brave attempt to speak. Keep going, don't stop now. Every drop of effort you've given is collecting into something powerful. One day, you'll open your mouth, and English will flow like music. That's the day you'll realize you've done it. You've become fluent. And when that day comes, remember to smile, because you earned it. You built it word by word, moment by moment. You didn't just learn English, you transformed yourself. So keep speaking, keep listening, keep believing. Your effort is already turning into speed, and your speed will soon become confidence. Now, it's your turn. Don't just watch this video. Start your small daily routine today. Speak one sentence out loud, listen for 5 minutes, write one line, and most importantly, believe in yourself, because the next breakthrough story could be yours.